What are you doing up there?
These goats. Oh my goodness. Please stay out of the house. Why? Go literally anywhere else. No, don't go in the house. These goats are obsessed with this house. And it's really, really getting annoying. It's not a safe place for you guys right now. It's a mess. This whole area here we weren't able to dig with the excavator because it was just too close to the house and too many things going on here, and we have just a mess of connection with various different drain pipes and water supply and gas and electric, and just all of the connections kind of converge right here. So I need to dig down about 50 centimeters to have the right drainage, as well as to have the space to put all of the junction boxes. Those goats. So, for the record, I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. I've never done this before, but it needs to be done. I did watch a YouTube video about it this morning. Feel mildly confident. But it is a new skill, so we're going to watch me make a mess and fail a little bit together. And that's okay. Come on, get up. So I learned yesterday that this was necessary before this wall is finished. This is called rasante in Italian, which I think is simply the top coat finish render in English. But I really didn't even have time to look up the definition. I got the chance to briefly ask Alessio a few pointers, how many bags, what tools I needed, kind of what motion to go in. I watched a video in Italian today because I wasn't even sure if top coat render was the proper terminology to YouTube. But this is going to be the finished coat. It's already dyed a kind of an off-white. It should, in theory, dry off-white. Does not need to be painted, if I understand that correctly. But the plumber needs to come back very soon and mount all of the pumps and filters and tons of different things to this wall. But it needs to be done before he can come back, which is very soon, so I just need to get it done. It's a good wall to learn on. It's a good wall to practice. So it doesn't really matter much. It's just a utility room. yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out for my first time at least. At first I had quite a lot of trouble floating it because I wasn't waiting long enough for it to go off. It's so humid today, and as you can see, I'm dripping in sweat from the humidity. So it's just not going off. Arguably, I probably could have floated a better job if I had waited another hour, it's just a utility room, a good place to practice. I floated it a little bit too thin in a few spots. And then the real problem that I had is some large granulars from the base coat just knocking off and getting mixed into everything. I think this is supposed to be a one coat deal, but if this was meant for the interior, then I would feel the need to do a second coat just because of all those granulars that get in, and when you're floating, it kind of streaks everything. I'm not sure how to avoid that other than doing a second coat. I swept the wall off pretty good, but yeah. I guess what I like about being so deep into a project like this is that you're faced with these problems where you're like, oh, I don't have the skill to do that, I can't do that, and then you realize you don't have a choice and you just have to figure it out, and I don't know, go out there and do something that scares you today. Well, hey there, I'm actually coming to you from the future through the fun of video editing. We are back in the United States right now, spending some time with family, which has been really, really good. And while I'm here at Heather's parents' house, I'm going to use the opportunity to install a brand new security camera from one of our longtime channel sponsors, Reolink. What I have here is the Reolink Atlas PT Ultra, which is an industry-leading 4K continuous battery-powered camera. Now, if you've been watching for a while, you've seen us review a variety of battery-powered cameras from Reolink, all of which have been great, but what makes this one so unique and so special is that it's a continuous recording battery-powered camera. See, most cameras that are battery-powered are PIR triggered enabled cameras, which means that it sees some motion and then starts to record. But the difference between those cameras and this one is that with this one, there's continuous recording. So when an event happens, you can actually rewind back and see what led up to that event taking place. In order to accomplish all of that continuous recording, the camera features a very large battery pack for this size of camera, which will allow you to have up to 500 days of use if you do use the PRI triggered mode. Or to use that continuous recording, you can install a solar panel for unlimited use. The Atlas PT Ultra has an option in the PRI triggered mode, which you can kind of think of as the battery saving mode, where it'll record the previous 10 seconds of any triggered event so that you never miss any action. And of course, this camera is a true 360-degree pan tilt camera that you can control completely from the app on your phone. This camera has Color X night vision, which is achieved through an f1.0 very large aperture for a security camera, giving you extra detail, turning night scenes essentially into daytime scenes. And finally, the camera features dual band Wi-Fi 6 connectivity, as well as 512 gigabytes of internal storage. This security camera really is the real deal. It's already won 17 awards in the space. So if you want to check it out, I'll leave a link in the description below, or you can check it out by scanning the QR code on screen. And once again, thank you so much to Reolink for being a long-term sponsor. Now, let's get back to the video. Tool for this. but I just want to get the job done. I don't have to run into town to buy a new tool. But I might have to. So running up this back wall, the stone wall of the bathroom, there's above all of the beautiful fireplace stones is a piece of wood that was rendered in as a opening, because when the previous owners came and built the new roof, they had to do a little bit of chimney reworking in order to make the ridge beam pass through and make the roof structural. So they left an access panel essentially, and they kind of set the stone aside that used to be there, which we still have. And it's time to kind of open that up because it's getting close to time to pass that chimney pipe up and through. We need to inspect and see what we need to do in order to make this work. This is the original chimney here, but when they redid the roof, they had to move the pipe this direction or the chimney that direction. Not ideal, but it'll be just fine. And then we will cover this up with a new stone. This back stone wall, I'm super pumped about. I'll step aside so you can see, but those massive, huge stones, the fireplace stones, I'm really pumped to make that a feature back wall and to have the bathtub sitting in front of it. I think the contrast of the white standing bathtub will be beautiful against the old stones, and it's been kind of a fighting point with any Italians here. They're like, why would you have stones in a bathroom? They just want to cover everything up. The traditional thing in an Italian bathroom is to be tile floor to ceiling, 100% tile in every single bathroom, usually the same tile on the floor and the walls, and it's usually either a light blue or a light pink. We're definitely going to stray away from that decor and keep the original stones. made a small mistake back here when we originally poured this concrete. I poured enough concrete to set our heat pump on, but I didn't factor in the amount of air needed behind the machine. So the plumber needs just 5 or 6 more inches. So I didn't show the pouring of the concrete yesterday because, you know, it's just a lot of pouring concrete and that gets boring after a while. But I'm going to pull these forms off and render off the edges nice and smooth and, you know, make it look pretty.
Well, hey, things are really just starting to come together. We've got the outlets all wired in. We've got the pipes all covered up. Really starting to move on to the finishing touches and could not be more excited. Thank you so much for watching and supporting us, and we will see you next time.